Hey guys, it's me, Chris Cully. I'm here in the Rubber Room in Rochester Hills, Michigan for another exciting episode of Create with Chris Live. Tonight I want to start off with some reminders about upcoming classes. I do have my Cards with Chris, which is going to happen on Thursday, February 20th. That is going to be a night class only at 7 o'clock, from 7 to 9 o'clock at night. And then on the 23rd, which is a Sunday, from 1 to 4, I have my my Pretty and Posh Pinterest class. And that's a quarterly thing that I just started doing. And my friend, that Michelle, is going to be with me this month, and we're going to be doing some samplers. It's $35 to attend, and you do get a $5 discount if you are a member of either the Rubber Room Ramblers team or Michelle's Pink Roses team. And here's the projects that we're going to do. We're going to do two samplers. One is with the bees and the romance. I can't think of the name of that flower one now. Always romance or something like that anyway. Both of them are in the mini catalog. So this is going to be the sampler we're going to do with Michelle's band. Then she has designed this great little gold pizza box, which has inside of it these three little cute 3x3 cards. There's a little thank you card and a little friend card, and then from the heart card. I think this is my favorite one. I really like that gold that goes with there. The class does not include the frames. So if you are coming, you do have to bring your own frames or purchase your own frames. You don't necessarily have to bring them with you. And this is the one I'm going to do. There's a little 3x3 notepad post-it holder. And hi Debbie, hi Carol, thanks for watching, ladies. This is the sampler that we're going to do with my class. We'll go way out so you can hopefully see it. Okay, so that's going to be our class on February 23rd, which is a Sunday. So I did my Choose Kindness class last week on Wednesday. So those are the projects that I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. Hi Bambi, thanks for tuning in, ladies. So what I do is, it is just a 1-hour class, really quick class, and we just make some 3D items that you can give as treats to people that you meet throughout the week. So I'm going to tune you down. Hang on, everybody. I'll get some lights on. And okay, so I'm going to be right here so you can see everything that's going on. Okay, that one we're going to use the okay, so this is going to be our first project. And it is this great little box that holds 3 little pieces of bit of honey in it. So, and I actually have, this is the little basket that we pass during class. So everything we need is in this basket. Just empty it out and get everything all messy here. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we will start with our box. So you have, this is actually the box that's going to hold the bit of honey. And I had already scored it for them. So we're just going to fold on our score lines. Let me get some of this garbage out of the way so you can see what we're working on here. So I'm just going to burnish it on my score lines. I hope you guys all had a great week last week. You were supposed to get some snowstorms a couple of times and they didn't happen, so that's always a good thing for me when they don't happen. I'm not a big fan of snow. I know some of you are snowbirds and you're off in the wintertime in Florida enjoying some sunshine. So I'm just going to cut this middle section out and then kind of miter my edges a little bit. So I'm just going to cut up to that first score line. And then I'm going to use some of our green Tombow glue. I did, when I had class, you could take your pick of the green Tombow glue or the tear and tape that we have. And the tear and tape is really strong too. But what I'm going to do is take the outside of these two little pieces in the middle that I just trimmed out. And they're going to go like that. So I'm just going to fold them up and adhere them to the outside of the boxes. So you have something that looks a little bit like this. Okay? And because I like a nice smooth box on the inside, I don't want my bit of honey to get kind of stuck on that little edge there. I'm going to put glue on these so that it'll go in like that. And then I'll have a nice smooth box on the inside and you won't have those tabs showing on the inside there. So what I'm going to do is just put some glue along the inside pieces of here. And we'll get rid of the glue for now. And just slide that right in on both sides. So I have this great little box that I'm going to put my bit of honey in. Super quick and easy. I'm going to put some holes in it because I am going to put some ribbon in there. So I'm just going to go in the middle and down about 1/4 of an inch and punch a hole. I'm going to do that on the other side too. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it because it's not really going to matter where it fits because it's going to be right on the inside of my box. And I'm just going to put a little knot in my ribbon. And I used that great black ribbon with the silver sequins. I think that's super pretty. And I think it's okay to kind of mix your metals too. So I don't think you have to be as careful about gold and silver as you used to. So I'm just going to tie 2 knots there and that onto my ribbon. And then I'm going to thread it through the hole in my box from the inside out. And that's going to kind of hold it right at the inside of my box. And then I'm going to take the other side and pull it through. This really isn't as difficult as I'm making it look. Sometimes I have to make it look really difficult so you guys are really impressed by how much I do for you. So my husband says, that was the least you could do. And you always do the least you can. Of course, he's just teasing me because, as you guys all know, I am a bit of an overachiever. So I'm just going to put 2 little knots in this one again. And then we can pull it up like that. Okay. So there you go. You have this cute little box with a little handle on it. We'll set that aside for now. We are going to stamp this great honeycomb, which is the outside here. We're going to stamp it twice. Once for the front of the box and once for the back of the box. And so I've already got a piece of white Whisper white cardstock that you could stamp twice on. Okay, so we're just going to put it in 2 different spots there. And Then we have a couple other little pieces of paper in here. We'll set that aside for a minute. And that goes with something else. But we have this little bee here. And I'm like all over the place. Okay, so we have our bee. We'll get our black memento ink out. And we're going to stamp a bee on this little piece of paper here. I think I'll go this way with them. And then we are going to take our sentiment, which says celebrate every moment. And we're going to stamp that again in the black memento ink on this piece of paper. Okay. So you have those two pieces. And we have our candy here. I'm going to take my marker, and it's a Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just going to take and color my bee. And I'm going to cut out my bee and the honeycomb part with my Big Shot. So I'm going to use this one and this one. I'll put that there for later because I'm going to come back with those. Okay. So I am for this one going to do what I call a ride along, which means I'm going to put multiple pieces on my magnetic platform at one time. Especially when I'm having a class, this cuts down on the time you're going to spend waiting in line to use the Big Shot and the framelits. Okay, so if you find that your framelits aren't sticking, you can always put a Post-it note on there to hold it down. And I might end up having to do that with this. He looks kind of like a fly, but it's a bee. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to bring my Big Shot in. I'm going to cover these guys up. Bring my Big Shot in and just cut those pieces out. And I am going to then cut out the other one. The honeycomb sort of thing, I don't even know if that is a honeycomb. I don't know why I'm calling it that because clearly it's not. But I think this is the honeycomb, and oh, this is the hive. This is the outside part of the hive. What happens when you're staring 60 in the face? You can't remember what a dang thing is called. But it comes to you. Okay, so this is the hive, and we're going to cut out a hive for the front and for the back of our box. All right. Put these back up here. Get rid of the Big Shot for now. All right, let's see where we are. And I think I'm just going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella, and I'm going to put that on the wings of my bee. So it'll give it kind of an iridescent, shiny look. This bee set is one of my favorite bundles in the new catalog, the mini catalog. Okay, so let's set those aside. I'm going to, again, go back to my Tombow glue. And I'm going to put that on both sides of my box. Okay, we're just going to let it get tacky for a second there. And then I'm just going to put this down in the center. And I find if I leave my box standing like that, that it's much easier for me to get it right to the bottom. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it around and do the same thing over there. Okay, and I'm going to pick the front of my box because I don't like that the seam were closed. I want that to be in the back. So that means this is going to be the front of my box. And because I'm using these as kind of surprise and delight gifts, meaning that I'm going to stick them in my purse or somebody's mailbox or something like that, I'm not going to use dimensionals on them. But you could easily use a dimensional. On my sample, I popped my little bee up with a dimensional. So you can easily do that if you wanted to. But since I am going to stick this in my purse and take it with me over the weekend, we are going to be traveling to Missouri this weekend to see my son who plays hockey there. I'm going to put the little bee on top of it. He plays hockey there. This is his last year. He'll graduate in May. And so I like to have little things to take to the airport with me. I'm actually meeting one of my downline there, and we're going to go to lunch. So I'll have somebody that got a little lunch counter and somebody that checks us in, and somebody that's going to clean my room at the hotel. So I'm going to use a lot of these little gifties that I'm going to take with me. Okay, and then I'm just going to stick my bit of honey in there. You guys remember growing up with bit of honey? And gosh, that was one of the cool things we got for Halloween treats, right? Okay, so there you go. You have like a little kind of purse almost with 3 pieces of bit of honey in it and your little bee on the top. Can you see how his wings are kind of iridescent there? Okay, so that's our first one that we did. And we actually, let me share with you, this is what the bee set looks like. Okay, so you get that great hive, 2 different size bees, and this sentiment says, wishing you sunshine and happiness, goes right around the hive. And then you have some flowers with that. Great sentiments. I love this one that just says, hello. Hello, everybody. That's one of my favorite stamp sets, and you get this gorgeous paper from Celebration. You can pick it as one of your free items. So that's what I used for this particular class. All of it was made with that honey or that bee paper. So it didn't cost me a lot to do the class because I only charge $6 and we do 3 projects. So it really isn't a class that's about making money. It's a class that's about spreading a little bit of kindness around us in our everyday world. So this one is actually what they call a box in a bag. So let's just untie this here. There is a box in there. And my box has some candy kisses in it. So you can see the box down there at the bottom. Let's see. There we go. You can see the box down there at the bottom. So what we're essentially going to do is make that box, and then we're going to wrap our big piece of cardstock or designer series paper around there. This designer series paper is so gorgeous. You can really, all of our designer series paper is so amazing. You can use it on either side. The only difference, I'm going to use a different piece of designer series paper for my bag that I'm going to share with you now. And you can see I've actually colored the bees on it. You could use the other side, which is the gorgeous honeycomb. So I'm going to start off, oh gosh, this one has lots of goodies in it. Okay, I think that might be all we are going to need for here. So I'm going to, let's actually start with the big shot first. I'm going to take my little Yamalicious and I'm going to stamp that in Memento ink on some Whisper White cardstock. I am going to stamp it right in the middle because I do want to cut it out with a framelit. So, and this Yamalicious comes from this So Sentimental stamp set. And it has a set of framelits that match it that are just amazing. I got the bundle because I absolutely love the sentiments, but it has all of these. And then this one goes here. And this one can layer right on top of there. When you put all these sentiments in there, this is a really, really great value for this whole entire bundle. So these two, though, we're going to use for this project. So we pull those out. Okay, we'll get the Big Shot back in here. And again, I am going to do the little ride along that I like so much. Wow. It's falling apart. Okay, that was just my little easel there. Nothing to be alarmed about. Okay, so this gold foil piece is going to get what really is a honeycomb. And our Yamalicious is going to get this little piece that goes right around it. It's nice and cozy on there. And then this looks like it could be a truck emblem or something almost, but I really like that shape. So everyone fits on there at the same time as opposed to having to run it through 3 different times. That's why I kind of cut my paper as opposed to just putting scrap paper out there when we do a class. I'm going to run it back this way. Okay. Get everybody out. And move that back out of the way. Okay, so we have our Yamalicious, and for one that could be a truck emblem. I don't know why I say that, but and then our honeycomb. And our honeycomb, I did take your pick tool out because sometimes this one needs a little bit of punching. You can just punch real lightly with that, depending on how tight. Everybody's Big Shot machine is calibrated a little bit differently, and a lot of it depends on how much your machine is used and or not used. And my machines get a lot of use. I actually own 3 of them, and there are times when all 3 of them are being used at a class. So they are very used, which sometimes means you have to use a little shim with them. These little pieces would be great for some kind of design on maybe the inside of your card at the bottom of it. I never throw away foil paper because it's too pretty. I like it too much to throw it away. Okay, so that's going to be the decoration on the outside of our box. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on my gold foil on the back of it. I'm going to do it way over here so you can't see me. It'll be like a secret. Actually, that's so that I don't get glue on my project. Okay, so I just put a little bit of glue on the back of there. And we'll just line it up like that. And then I'm going to put some tear tape right across the middle of my sentiment, and maybe some little pieces on either side of it. Okay. I'll just peel the back of that tear tape off. And I'm going to put that at a little bit of an angle like that. So that's going to be the piece that goes on the front of our box or our bag. Okay, so this one, again, they're all measured and scored, so all you have to do is come in and fold along the lines. And actually, during class, we make our actual box in the bag together, and then everybody goes back and decorates their own. So we kind of walk through this part step by step. So on each corner, I'm going to cut up to the score line and then miter the small edge. Okay. So you have all 4 corners cut right up to your score line. And then I'm just going to take a little glue and put it on the outside of all 4 of those corners. And then I'm just going to fold them up and in. And I usually will do 2 of them at the same time and hold them. And then we'll do the other 2. So there you have your little box. So the piece that I want on the outside, the part I want showing on the outside, I'm going to turn face down. Okay, so it's going to go face down, and I am going to glue the entire long strip on the side that I want to be the inside of my bag. Okay? Then I want my bag to close over like this. So I'm going to put glue on the inside here. All right? And then I'm going to start with this end. The end that doesn't have glue on the short side is the end I'm going to start with. And I'm just going to put my box at the very edge of it. I think you guys, yep. Okay, and the easiest way, you're going to wrap your paper all the way around this box. So the easiest way for me to do it is to just keep doing it like this. Okay, so you can see I'm just kind of, in fact, you can even use your bone folder in here if you wanted to. And then I'm just going to turn it up again and line it up there and use my bone folder. Okay, so I'm just kind of folding the box over onto the edge of the paper. And that's just because that's the way that it works best for me. If it works best for you to hold it up in the air and do it like this, that certainly will work too. You just need to pick what works best for you and what you feel most comfortable doing. Okay, so it's all glued all the way around the bottom. And then I like it, this is the short side with the glue on it. So I'm just gonna press that down. Okay, and there is a little trick. If you put your glue or your adhesive where it doesn't belong and you notice it right away, you can take your heat tool and just give it a shot with your heat tool, and that will soften or melt the adhesive. So you kind of get 2 shots with it that way. And then all I did was hold it closed, and I used a little rectangular hole punch and put a punch in it. And then I just cut a length of ribbon. We're going to take some candy kisses first and put those down there on the inside, because who doesn't like a little fancy kiss every now and then, right? Then I'm just going to take a piece of adhesive. We all know this is ribbon, right? Woo. My team meeting tomorrow, and at this rate, I don't have any idea what their making tapes could look like if I can't tell the difference between adhesive and ribbon. They are probably watching this going, oh no, we might not even be able to make that meeting tomorrow. So I'm just going to hold it together and give it a little bow here. And we'll trim our edges off. And then I'm going to take, again, this is my seam, so I want that towards the back. So I'm just going to, I'll add a little tear tape to this one. Just because it's going to go kind of, maybe I will. Okay, who can't find their tear tape? And it's going to go a little curvy over the box. So I think the tear tape is going to hold it a little bit better than my glue. Okay, so I'm just going to take the back off there. There we go. And the little Yumalicious is going to go right on the front. There you go. How cute is that with all those little bees? Or this one has the bees and the flowers on it. Gorgeous designer series paper, you guys. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, in this one, we're actually going to use the sentiment. This is kind of a triangle box that looks like this. And your sentiment comes from the Under My Umbrella stamp set. So we're actually going to use this Hello Sunshine stamp set stamp from here. And what's going to happen is the back of your pyramid box is going to open, and we have a little matching votive on the inside. Okay, so for this one, let's start off with our sentiment. That's a little bit of a trick. All right, let's get this box emptied out here. Okay, so we are going to take this piece of Whisper White cardstock. We're going to stamp our sentiment on it. And I'm going to use this punch for it, but the punch is actually a bit bigger than what I want. So I think, let me see if I can show it to you. I don't want so much white on there with this. So I'm going to punch it up here and over a little bit that way, because I do want to put a punch in here so I can tie the ribbon there. Okay, let me make sure it's straight. I'm going to put it over a little bit more. A little bit indecisive. Okay, so I want it up towards the top, but I want a little bit extra space in here for my little bow. So I'm going to punch that, but it looks a little bit silly with all this space down here. So I'm going to take a little Post-it note holder, and I'm going to put the Post-it note holder here because that's right where I want to punch the bottom of it. Let me check and make sure I'm straight there. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back into the hole punch. And I'm going to actually use this as my little handle guide. And I'm going to get it right where I want it so that I'm nice and straight there. And punch it. And then I'm going to have that great shape with the two little like curves at the top and the bottom of it. So you have that great shape, but I don't have all that extra kind of white space there. Okay? So we'll set that aside, and then I'm going to take this small piece of Designer Series paper, and again, you can do it on either side that you want. And let's get some more tear tape out here. I'm just going to run some tear tape down the entire piece. And this is what I'm going to wrap around my votive. So I'm just going to start at one side. It doesn't really matter. I don't think there's a front or a back to this. There will be when you're done, because where that seam is right there is obviously going to be the back of it. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And then I have two pieces of paper that were cut 3 by 9 and then scored at 3 inches and 6 inches. And then I marked them at 1.5 inches and scored them. So that I marked them at 1.5 inches here and scored from the 1.5 to the 3. So I have something that looks like this. And on this side, I cut off, instead of scoring, I cut those off. Okay, so I have a piece that looks like this. This piece with the two tabs on it is going to be the back of my box. It's going to be the part that opens and closes my box. So in the second piece, it is, again, 3 by 9, scored at 3 and 6, but I left the tabs on one side. As opposed to leaving them on one end, I left them both on one side. So we're just going to fold over on those score lines. And those tabs, I'm going to put glue on. And again, you can use your tear tape. Whatever you're comfortable with is what you want to be using. And you can tape this down if you want to. I am not going to because I want a little bit of play in it so I can make sure I'm getting these right. Okay, so I'm going to do the one where I've cut off both the tabs. I'm just going to tape that down. Okay. So it's going to look like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay? So that's going to be the front of your pyramid box right there. So we have both of those sides taped down, or glued down in this case. And now if you wanted to, you could definitely go back in and add some, if you take the top off that glue. Sheesh. There we go. So you can go in and add some tape and then tape it down now. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to punch a hole in all 3 of these pieces. Not with this rectangular hole punch though. I'm just a tiny 1/16 hole punch here. So we're just going to go in and punch a hole in all these spots. Okay. And we'll put our little votive in, and then I'm actually gonna close my back door like that. And this one, we're gonna then take our gold ribbon and put it through here. And sometimes you may have to kind of force the back side in a little bit. Actually, I guess you only needed to tie 2 sides of that, not 3. Or, I'm sorry, punch 2 sides and not 3. So, when you get that, when you put your back in there, you want to tie your ribbon so that you get it tied tight enough it will hold that back in there. Okay, so this is just going to hold it. Ooh, I'm really off back here. We'll just give that a little press in, and that will hold your box shut, baby. Okay, so we had one of the gals there that her box wouldn't close either. So I obviously am getting that box. Oops. So I'm just going to tie it once there. And then I'm going to put a little hole in my sentiment. And bring my ribbon right through there. You can use any kind of ribbon that you wanted to here. You don't have to use this gold thread. If you don't want to, we have some gold sequins. We have lots of black. We want to be sure you've cut enough to give it a nice bow. Oh, this is really hard to do from behind. There we go. So we'll turn that down. Okay, I'm giving up doing it so. There. So we've got that going down, and I'm just going to put I want a little glue dot. That's what I want. So I'll put a little glue dot on the back of my sentiment there. And put it down like that. And then maybe trim this gold up just a little bit. And work on getting that. What I'm going to do to get that to stay in is just make sure I have a good crisp fold along my back here. So once I get that folded nicely down, my back will stay closed like that. Okay? So there you go. Those were they took us a little longer to make than our first Choose Kindness class did. But here's what we did again. We did this box in a bag, and then this little votive holder. So that was our Choose Kindness class. Okay, let's turn you guys back up here. Oh, there we go. Maybe we go. There. Okay, Donna's here, and Adrian's here, and Debbie's here, and Carol's here, and Penny's here, and thanks so much for watching tonight, you guys. I really appreciate your support, and hopefully I'll see you back here next Monday for another episode of Create with Chris Live, and some of you I'll see tomorrow at our team meeting. So have a great week and weekend. Like I said, I'll be traveling this weekend, so it'll be a busy weekend for me, but I'll be excited to come back and share with you what we're going to be doing next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.